David Monroe on Saturday nights, he stayed home. And one thing was very obvious. He would call, give comment, and then he would sing. But we note every time he would have called when he stayed home, he would have been the last one. And of course, after he would have made his contribution, he would have sang the song, Sheep of All. Now he sang this song very passionately. And of course, wherever I heard him in presenting, people would have asked, could you just give us this one, Sheep of Heaven? Well, truly, that is a voice that would be missed on Praise FM, on our nightly program every Saturday night, Christian Community. And he would be missed. I no doubt had an association with Elder Small. I was honored in his last moment to have been in the special unit at the hospital. When I got there, I remember when his sister was there with bowed heads, and she was...
Good afternoon, everyone. This is to Zena, Kurt, and Linton from the Leandre and Josie family. We've no abiding city here. We seek a city out of sight. In the Christian's home in glory, there remains a land of rest, and our Savior's gone before us to fulfill our soul's request. Death itself will be forever vanquished, and our loved one, your loved one, we shall see. There you'll meet your dad and your loving husband, never more to part again. We've no abiding city here. We seek a city yet to come. Zion its name, the Lord is there. It shines with everlasting light. Pain and sickness never shall enter in that bright celestial center. Then weep no more, but will endure the conflict till your work is done. For this we know the prize is sure when victory is won. Then weep no more, just dry those tears. Soon and very soon, you'll hear his loving voice singing those lovely songs that he cherished so much. There's no disappointment in heaven. Face to face with Christ my Savior and many, many more.
We spoke to my mom, and I heard her every night for an update on my dad's condition. We were all praying, clinging on the threads of hope that he would pull through again, as he had in the past. As each day passed with no improvement, we started to realize that God had other plans. And so today, my tiny baby brother Kurt and I gathered here with my mom Lucina, Dad's wife, his sisters, my aunts Leonora and Rhoda, his brothers, my uncles Nicholson and Jonathan, his nephews and nieces, my cousins Lovely, Charrington, Kern, Tessa, Terry, Telvin, Myrtle, Janice, Miranda, Kester, and their families.
He ran 5 miles to church in Soufrière and would often arrive before the bus that carried his mother and his change of clothes. As you can imagine, for a young boy walking and running, such distances demanded different ways to pass the time. Playing in the streams, rolling tires, and raiding fruit trees was typical. But it is on these walks he developed his talent for singing. He would sing hymns, country and western, original compositions, and freestyle anything else that came to mind. The neighbors always knew when he was around because he wasn't shy to sing loudly at 5 o'clock in the morning on his way to school. He sang solos in church and in many different groups over the years, including Share Your Faith Evangelical, Lights of Life, and in duets with his brothers.
Singing was always a big part of his life, and later led him to meeting Lucina as part of the youth choir. Knowing the kind of man he was, I can see why she was smitten by him. He was confident, he was charismatic, he was ambitious, he was funny, he was witty, and he could sing. What more could a girl want? And so they courted for several years while building their first home by hand every Sunday on the morn before getting married on September 17, 1972. I came along 5 years later in 1977 and enjoyed all the benefits of being an only child till 1979 when this guy arrived.
My dad was proud of his 2 sons. He took us everywhere he went. He took us to church, to work, and to the airport to geek out over planes as they came and went to faraway places. He taught us important life lessons every kid should know, like how to play Super Mario Brothers, be handy around the house by fixing things ourselves, and how to drive a car fast but safe. He didn't realize it at the time. We didn't realize it at the time. But my dad was an excellent teacher. He quite literally was a teacher's assistant for 1 year in Soufrière, tutoring younger kids up to standard 1 in reading, arithmetic, science, and more. He believed in teaching and letting people learn from their mistakes.
He taught me how to ride a bike. After trying for over an hour with no luck, he took a break and let my cousin Miranda take over. Now, anyone who knows Miranda knows she is not the most patient of people. After pushing me around for what felt like 5 minutes, she pushed me down a hill, and much to my surprise, I started to ride, and I was feeling good about myself till it was time to stop. My dad taught me how to use the brake, but I didn't pay attention to that lesson. I just wanted to ride. This was my practical lesson. Never squeeze
on deaf ears, till we broke their bed with a vertical suplex. Dad took the blame like a champ, but Mom was not pleased, sleeping on a broken bed for weeks till Dad fixed it, only to start rustling again.
My favorite story of Dad was as a boy, and the neighborhood gambling ring. Yes, back in those days, children played marbles for buttons. Problem is, the buttons were on the shirts they wore every day. Some kids would pop a button or two to use as currency for the game, but Dad, being the super competitive guy that he was, thought he was better at playing the game than anyone else. Throwing caution to the wind, he went all in. He popped every button off his shirt to play. Later that day, he slowly walked home with his shirt flapping in the wind with no buttons. He got a spanking that day, but didn't want to be known as a loser. Many shirts were sacrificed till he got good at playing the game.
By now you are getting a clear picture of the type of man Uriah was. The fact that so many of you gathered here to say your goodbyes is proof of that. And though there are no words that could fill the void of his absence, I would like to offer you these words of scripture. John 3:16, if you would say with me. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Let us remember the gifts Uriah left each and every one of us, laughter for your soul, a song for your heart, and generosity for your spirit. Rest my hand.
Amen. When you can give them a big amen. This time we are ready to receive a word from God. And the man appointed to speak to us this afternoon is the nephew of Brother.
Pleasant good afternoon. Life forever and ever, and I hold the keys to death and the grave. I don't know about you, but I came to celebrate the fact that God is a God of majesty. I came to recognize the fact that God is a God of mystery, and that He, on human behalf, He has a ministry. The majesty, the mystery, and the ministry of Christ. We're looking at the topic, because He lives. Because He lives. The book of Revelation vividly captures the sweep of and the grand summary of God's identity, His personality and intentionality for humanity. It is a catalogue of the convergence and climax of human history, and it introduces man's impending salvation or damnation. The book is entitled Revelation, a translation of the Greek word apocalypsis, meaning disclosure, unraveling, or revealing. This is intended to be the revealing of the nature of Christ, the revealing of His loving character, His essence, and His agenda for you and me. God is majestic. And when the disciple John was on a lonely isle of Patmos, weeping his exile and banishment from his duties, he met Jesus on the Lord's Day. And that brought him to those churches are in the palm of my hand. With God, your future is sure. that the church is the light of the world, and God is walking among his people. Whether things are good, he is there. Whether things are bad, he is there. In good health, he is there. In waning health, he is there. A present help in time of trouble, he is there. He is a God who does not abandon children. He is a God who never leaves us alone. When you cannot feel him, he is there. You need to trust him. The first John the first saw the candlesticks. He saw the lighthouses or the churches from which he was banished, but then he saw Christ. He may have had concerns about their well-being or survival, but then he saw Christ. He may have had misgivings and anxiety over their future, but then he saw Christ. Our lives is in the hands of a mighty God. He turned to witness, and as he gazed in heavenly vision, Christ himself, royal over all, and intimately joined with his people. God is in the midst of us. The psalmist says, therefore, we shall not be moved. Yes, he's king over the universe, but he is not an aloof monarch. He is a caring king. His presence is with us. He may be potentate and sovereign and master of the universe, but then he is loving, comforting, supporting, and uplifting. God is our fountain of joy and happiness in this life. Until we see him face to face, he is still with us. John saw him as a very present help in time of trouble. As he saw his majesty, the Bible describes his majesty. The Bible says he was walking among the candlesticks, figure as a man dressed in regal garments down to his feet, a robe or a sash of gold draped his shoulders and chest. The hair of his head was as white as wool. A blazing fire came from his eyes, and a sharp sword from his mouth. This simply said what he was saying, I am the living one. I was dead, but now alive. What a mystery. The living one, not only was he the living one, but he was the dead one. But he came up with life, life original, life unborrowed, and life underived. Because he is life himself. He is the giver of life. Everything that is because of Jesus Christ. He is the Alpha and Omega. He causes every person or every human being that lives upon this earth. He is the sufficient cause. He was and is to come. The causeless causer, the timeless timer, the supreme ruler. Life is his prerogative. He gives and he takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Yeah. I am happy that he gave Uriah life and he was able to live with such exuberance and joy. He was able to live with such hope and understanding of who his life giver really is. While many people are looking for themselves, he found himself in Jesus Christ. I am the living one, the life giver, but he gave his life for us so that we may have eternal life. He gave it up and he picked it up again. He circumvented the tomb. He conquered death. Death no longer has a sting because he lives. The grave no longer has victory because he lives. Uncle Uriah sleeps for a moment because Jesus lives. For in him is life, somebody say amen. Your living and dying is in the Master's hand. Because he says, I have the keys. He said the devil doesn't have the keys. Would somebody say amen? Sickness doesn't have the keys. Hello, somebody. Murderers and evil men, they don't have the keys. There is one God who holds the keys. His name is Jesus. He has the answer for life's problems because he is the giver of life. He says, I have the keys. I own the place. Would somebody say amen? I conquered it. There is hope because when our lives are of the grave, hell, captivity, captive, and sets his people free. He was dead, but now he is alive. He conquered it. And so the gospel missionary, the apostle Paul says, I don't want you to misunderstand this, brethren. I don't want you to live here or live life without knowing that those who fall asleep, they have a hope. Would somebody say amen? For we believe that Christ died and rose again. Even so shall he raise them that sleep in Jesus Christ. I'm certain that Jesus rose from the dead. I'm certain that those who sleep in Christ will live again. In fact, to the Ephesians he said, for he raised us up with him. Would somebody say amen? He said, when Jesus resurrected, as sure as he raised, we were raised with him. And as sure as he's sitting at the right hand of the Father, you are seated in Christ, in God. You may be down there, but you are represented over there. You are seated by the side of your Savior because you may be seeking hell here, but you have a short destiny over there because he has already conquered it for you. He has fixed up the situation that you are going through. You are going through the motions, but God has already decided the outcome. Decide, see, and deliver. Will somebody say amen? So that is what the sleep. Will somebody say amen? For one of these days, the voice of God. Will somebody say amen? And the trumpet call of Michael will be heard. I have the keys. The dead in Christ shall be raised up. Somebody say amen. God will come. Coronated. We will live in his presence. Sin will be exterminated. The Holy Ghost, the atmosphere will be regulated. And Jesus Christ will be coronated. Because he lives. Death stings today. But when he comes again, no more. Death seems victorious today. But when Jesus comes, we will see the great victory of the resurrection revealed. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, Jesus lives. All fear for the future is gone. Because I know he holds the future. And life is worth it. Because he lives, sing with me, children. I can face tomorrow. Because Jesus lives. As you know the blood of Jesus, you know it's settled in eternity. So
But this song is a Christian's hope, the hope of seeing Christ again when He comes. So I pray that it encourages and it blesses the family this afternoon.
And it continues with that special rendition of this song which has now become synonymous with Uriah. And then I will return with closing remarks and the benediction. So, let it.
On behalf of our family, we'd just like to thank everyone for coming, those who shared their condolences, both here and abroad. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for showing your support in any way that you have. Thank you so much.
I also wanted to thank our Reverend at Villa Church in the United States and everyone who contributed online to that spiritual fund. We were overwhelmed by your generosity, and we thank you.
Remember, when you exit, to exit with your personals. I believe that it would be a good idea. Perhaps it's somewhat overdue that someone should document the story of this family. But here today, in these closing remarks, I remember a former student with whom I shared a very special bond. Yes, a special bond. On some of those mornings when we would wake up before daybreak and leave Montbouche in moonlight and get down to Soufrière so everybody is on time for the start of school. Yes, he was my student, but I love spending weekends at the family home. I was there like one of the members of the family. Please stand with me. Father in heaven, our God, we give thanks to you for the very fact that you are God, might and power, who allowed his Son to die and raised him from the dead, the first fruits of all that slept. Invigorate us with hope and fill our hearts with anticipation as we live in expectation of that joyful reunion. To him be praise, glory, honor, and thanks, now and forevermore. Amen. Please remain standing for the recession.
Together let us sweetly sing, I am bound for the land of Canaan. Number 451. We wish to ask that you take your belongings with you as you exit the church. And we wish to thank you once more for coming.